Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club. Put a little stank on it today.
Good.
Put a little extra mustard on it.
You gotta put all the spices on it. You gotta wake me up inside, because it's been a long time since I've done this.
Yeah, it's been a week.
It feels like forever. It was a
I guess
long
it's been
weekend.
2 weeks. We did have a week off
Yeah.
from
'cause
recording.
It's a crazy week.
You went to MagFest.
I did go to MagFest. I just crawled up inside of the Mushihime machine, and I lived there for 3 days.
I didn't go to MagFest.
Womp womp.
Everybody, tell your friends about us. Tell MagFest about us.
Tell them to buy our tickets for next year.
I always just regret not being there the year that the Streets of Rage guy was there.
Whatever year that was.
I think it was like ages ago.
Right, like the first MagFest.
I don't think it was that long ago. But. Anyway, it's a new year.
New you.
I'm Mike. I'm still Mike.
I'm still not. So
And,
I guess nothing's really changed.
Yeah, I guess not. Play a theme song. We've watched this show before.
Yeah, it's the lawyer man.
It's Ace Attorney. Phoenix Wright.
Don't do that.
Should I say it properly?
Say it like a good boy.
Phoenix Wright. Yeah, we came at this show a long time ago. It was one of the earliest ones we did, I think.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years probably.
I was looking at stuff that we covered a long time ago and trying to decide what we should come back to. And I looked at this and I thought, yeah, this deserves another chance. We didn't even see like half of the main cast in the first episode, so...
No. I always forget that Maya isn't just in your inventory the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because the first episode, you know, the ending song is all about her.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't actually in the episode.
Just a little spoiler for the next one.
So this episode is called Turnabout Sisters First Trial, implying immediately that they will not be covering the entire story of Turnabout Sisters in this episode.
Shh, don't ruin it. From this little-known IP.
For anybody who doesn't know, Turnabout Sisters is the first real case of the first Ace Attorney game.
The first non-tutorial case.
Yeah, because the first episode of this show just covered the tutorial case, and it was dull.
It was dull.
This one I thought was a little bit better.
I liked it a lot better.
Yeah. This originally aired April 9th, 2016, a good 15 years after the game came out. I'm still not sure why.
15? I always forget that Phoenix Wright was on the Game Boy Advance. That's so gross.
It was... Wait, am I wrong? It was 2001, wasn't it, originally?
I don't know that off the top of my head. When did Phoenix Wright come out? 2001.
I was right, okay. Yeah, it's funny because That's a fairly early Game Boy Advance title. In fact, that might have been the same year the Game Boy Advance came out. But we didn't know about it until the DS, so we have this like warped timescale.
Didn't come out until 2005 on the DS.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so it was about 6 months after the Game Boy Advance came out. So it was an early Game Boy Advance game. God, think about how different our lives would have been if we discovered Ace Attorney at the beginning of the Game Boy Advance's life cycle instead of at the beginning of the DS's.
I don't know if that would have made my life better or worse. I'm quite happy with the period of time that Phoenix Wright entered my life. He got me through some dark days.
Yeah.
I survived high school because I was best friends with Phoenix Wright.
How dare you?
Well, I couldn't talk to you because I didn't have the internet.
Sometimes you did.
Every now and then when I would sneak into a back room for a hit of internet.
That was back when we were using AIM. Remember that?
I do. And also that shitty web-based messenger. MSN, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the web-based one.
It was so bad.
Anytime we were on computers that weren't our own.
And if you didn't, like, continuously talk, it would just kind of forget.
Yeah.
You'd have to restart it so that you could actually post again.
Well, this episode opens with Mia calling Maya on the phone. You know, I don't say their names out loud that often, and when I do, I realize how I'm gonna mix them up at some point.
That's okay.
Seeing them written down, I'm like, yeah, Mia and Maya, that's fine. But then I start saying them out loud, and I'm like, wait, which one's which?
I did have that brief fear just watching it and thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a second, which one is that?
So, in Japanese, Maya's name is Mayoi Ayasato, and she is played by Aoi Yuki.
We know that name, don't we?
Do we? It does sound familiar, but it wasn't in my list of names we've covered before. But that list isn't exhaustive because I started it like 70 episodes in and I haven't added all of them to it yet.
That's fair.
I did look at her list of stuff and I didn't see anything that jumped out of me as being something we covered before. She only plays Maya in the anime, which is odd. In fact, that's for all of these. All of these characters have different voice actors elsewhere, and the voices they have in this anime are only their voices for this anime, which doesn't happen very often in Japan.
Oh, that's true.
Usually in Japan, if they have a voice, that's the voice in everything.
I was like, what are you talking about? But then in the 3DS games, they do get voices. Some of them, anyway.
Yeah. And also, like, Maya had a voice in the Ace Attorney Professor Layton crossover, I think.
I forgot that existed.
And that was somebody else as well. But what's weird is this actress actually was in that Layton versus Wright game, but not as Maya.
Huh.
She played Espella in it. She was also the voice of Sayaka in Your Name. She is the voice of Iris in the Pokemon anime, and she plays Eevee in the Pokemon games. So, you know, all in like Let's Go and Sword and Shield and stuff, when you send Eevee out and it goes, that's her.
I know exactly where I know her from.
Madoka. Yeah, I was just getting to that. Yeah, she's the voice. She's the voice of Madoka in Madoka Magica, one of Mel's favorite shows.
Mm-hmm. Very good show. Watch it if you want to cry.
She's also the Japanese voice of Styx the Badger in the Sonic franchise, so...
Cool.
Maya Fey, the English version of the character, is played by Lindsay Seidel, and we have talked about her before, because she was the voice of Celestia in the Danganronpa anime.
Oh.
And I could hear it. When I watched the dub, I could hear Celestia in there.
Oh, she's also the voice of Margaret in Rune Factory 5. Is she her in 4? I'm just going to be scrolling her IMDb page all day, because she is in everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You're talking about the Japanese voice?
I'm still talking about Aoi Yuki.
Yeah, okay. Double checking. I figured.
She's the voice of the female protagonist in 4.
Oh, but not whoever you were talking about.
No, that's Chiwa Saito, who was another voice actor in Madoka.
Back to Ace Attorney.
Oh yeah, that show.
So Mia is asking Maya to hold some evidence for her, which is the Thinker statue from the previous trial. It's got papers inside it now.
Uh-oh.
And those papers are the evidence.
Uh-oh.
And then we see Red White listening on the wiretap. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, the first case really, it spells it out for you.
Well, what's funny is, in the game, we straight up see him do the murder, don't we?
Oh, that's right, we do.
We don't see that in this, but we do see plenty of him just kind of threatening people and stuff.
Threatening people, being shady and weird.
Yeah, we don't get a good look at his face, but I feel like when we do, it's going to be clear who he is.
We don't get a good look at his face, but we get to see his rings.
Yeah, and we get to hear his voice plenty. He is played by Masaru Konaka. No, never mind. In Japan, his name is Masaru Konaka. And he is played by Hiromichi Tezuka, who was the hero in Monster Hunter Stories.
Oh.
And played someone called Kakushin in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. That seemed like a pretty prolific role. I didn't see a lot else that jumped out at me, though. However, Red White's English voice, Larry Brantley, did have one voice that stood out to me very, very, very much so.
Your voice is rising into a strange cadence.
He was the voice of Wishbone.
The dog?
The dog!
What's the story, Wishbone?
What's the story, Larry Brantley?
The dog that reads books and dresses up cute.
It's the dog that reads books and dresses up cute. I love Wishbone.
Who doesn't love Wishbone?
How can you not love Wishbone? How can you just want to sit down and watch a dog reenact the literature greats of yesteryear?
I would watch a dog in an outfit do anything.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, though? Wishbone and Red White sharing a voice.
Do you think Wishbone has ever extorted someone? Think he's ever gone into a library and shaken him down?
I think definitely. Has Wishbone ever played the villain of one of the stories?
That's a good question. I wonder.
When I think of Wishbone, I mostly think of him in the role of Sherlock Holmes. So.
Right. Or Ichabod Crane.
Yeah. So yes, Larry Brantley, the voice behind Wishbone, was also Hordy in One Piece and did a bunch of voices in Borderlands. But he was in several Borderlands games, but as different, one-off characters in each one, just kind of mission characters,
Mm-hmm.
So we get some scenes here that aren't in the game, this is where this show kept me invested. It's in the stuff that wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
So we actually get to see Mia inviting Phoenix for dinner, which I'm pretty sure we didn't see in the game. I think he's just been invited off camera.
He's just showing up uninvited.
And then we get to see a little bit of Edgeworth in court, and Phoenix is reading a newspaper about it on a train.
He has a little tiny section about himself.
Yeah, I liked that. That was a nice... there's a big headline article about Edgeworth, and then a tiny little footnote article about what
Local
Phoenix
dimwit
did.
Lawyer wins case somehow.
That was good. There's a lot of stuff like that in this episode, contrasting the two of them against each other.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I do like it. I have a problem later where we see Edgeworth's office, which we don't see in the game until a lot later, and it spoils the fact that he's a Steel Samurai fan.
No, I have actually some stuff to say about that, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
But in Japanese, Edgeworth's name is Reiji Mitsurugi, and he is played by Masashi Tamaki. who didn't have a lot in his resume. There weren't many roles that stood out to me, except one, which is that he was the voice of Zant in Hyrule Warriors.
Oh.
Zant has a really high-pitched, squeaky, screamy voice.
And that's Edgeworth.
And that's Edgeworth. Yeah, Miles Edgeworth is his English name. He is played by Christopher Wehrkamp, who played Katagawa in Borderlands 3, which I wrote down first because it's recent to us.
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember him.
Played it. Yeah, Katagawa was the guy in charge of... Was it Maliwan?
I think it's Maliwan.
Yeah. I didn't remember him at all until I looked him up on the wiki, and then I was like, oh, yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah, we saw him and then immediately killed him.
But he is also the voice of Aizawa in My Hero Academia. That is the homeroom teacher of the main characters. You've probably seen him. He's the guy, he's always like bundled up in like scarves and sleeping bags and stuff, and he has long black messy hair and just looks sleepy all the time.
No. No, I've never seen him. I think I've seen this specific image of him.
He's quite popular. He also plays Takahisha in Fire Force, and he plays both Mest and Ren in Fairy Tail. Don't know who any of those are.
No, we're not hip with the animes.
I have the first book of Fairy Tail. Have I told you about this? I joined a manga book club.
What?
Like 20 years ago, probably.
Uh-huh.
No, probably more like 15 years ago. There was in the bookstore in the mall. There was like a Sunday morning, or was it Sunday evening? No, it was a Saturday night, I think. Manga book club. And this was around the time when I was reading Fruits Basket and the Dot Hack manga. And I thought, yeah, I could, make some new friends and extend my, manga reading library. So I went to the first one, which was Fairy Tail.
Mm-hmm.
So I read Fairy Tail. And I thought, this isn't for me. Like, it's fine. I don't care to read any more of it. And then I went to the meeting, and the nerds were just too theater kid for me, I think.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the problem that I have. Like, I don't really vibe with people that are... I don't even want to say that passionate. I don't know how to describe it without it sounding offensive, and I don't mean it to be offensive.
It's a certain kind of nerd who... I think it's a... I mean, stop me if this isn't what you're talking about, but I think it's like an anxiety thing, where when they're in a social situation like that, they like ramp it up.
Oh, yeah.
To a level where I'm like, I need you to calm it down.
Can you please be a little bit more normal? You're giving me anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I wanted this to be chill, and you're all screaming. And it makes me feel like I'm the only adult in the room, even though I'm pretty sure I was younger than them at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not really my vibe. It's not really my scene.
Yeah.
I struggle in fandom spaces in general.
Yeah, same. But that's why I just talk about this stuff with you. This is my manga book club now.
Yeah, we've never read a single manga. It's great.
I keep wanting to say anime book club, and I think that's because that's what they actually called it. And I think at the time I was like, anime books. I think there's a word for that,
Light novels. We actually have read a manga together now that I think about it.
Ooh, we don't talk about that in public, though. Because it was a dirty manga.
We did a dramatic reading of it. Oh, it was so good.
It was good. Do you still know what the title of it was? Because I got no idea. I don't think I ever knew.
I do. It was called Thriller Sweet.
If anybody wants to know. Yeah, did we both read it, or did I read it? I know I read parts of it, because the parts of it that are stuck in my brain forever are the parts I read.
I think you read it.
I just did the dramatic reading.
Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't involved in it, because nowadays that's exactly what I would want.
Yeah, we would take a character each.
I have pulled it up on Google and I have found the manga.
You know what? If there's any demand for it, maybe we could record a dramatic reading of it. We've done the rehearsal.
But who would be who? There's like only one character.
I mean, I feel like I have to be the guy that says the thing. And you can be anyone else who has lines.
Okay. I'll be all the other men that he interacts with.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's stop talking about hentai. And where are we? Phoenix shows up at the law office for dinner. He's late.
As usual.
That's his thing. It's funny, I realized that even though Phoenix is, his own character and does have a strong personality and does have a lot of lines, I've always just kind of thought of him in these early games as like a stand-in for the player.
I think he was initially a stand-in for the player, but people started getting really attached to him.
Mm.
And by the time Apollo Justice came out and he was no longer the protagonist character, that's when he really started to blossom.
Because I think Apollo Justice is the first time that I really thought of him as a character rather than just the window through which I was seeing the game. Even though he constantly tells you how he's feeling about stuff.
Yeah.
I was just always kind of like, oh, that's how I'm feeling about it.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
So seeing him in this show acting autonomously, I was kind of like it made me a little uncomfortable in a weird way.
No, I loved it because once we get out of Phoenix's head, like Phoenix is easily my favorite protagonist lawyer that we get to play as. But
he's great. Yeah. I don't like Apollo very much.
I like Apollo as a supporting character, but I hated being Apollo.
He's very much like Raiden from Metal Gear in that way.
Yeah.
I like Raiden when I'm not playing as him. When I'm playing as him, I can't stand him.
Yep. But like once we finally get out of Phoenix's head and he's his own person, I'm like, Phoenix is the best.
Yeah, he's really good. I really like him. And this episode in particular, there were so many moments where I was like, oh, Phoenix.
I know.
I love you so much.
Boy.
But he shows up. He shows up looking for his dinner, and he finds the lights off, and things are broken inside. There's a mess everywhere, and he finds Mia's body.
I love that even in death, she's beautiful and immaculate.
Yeah, I think that's important for like setting the moment in your mind. It burns that image, and I think it's so good that they really like just fully recreated this scene exactly as it looked in the game. For this, because that image of her slumped against the wall that's a picture that's going to be with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's kind of like the first execution in Danganronpa. Like, it's so extreme, and it's such a shock from what you've been going through before that.
That's the baseball one, yeah?
Yeah, that's the baseball one.
Okay.
I think that was one of the worst in the series, just because it's not goofy like some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like the centrifuge. Yeah.
It's like super visceral. Most of the others, like whatever happens to the victim kind of happens off screen.
Yeah.
But with the baseball one, we really see it.
Yeah.
It's
shocking.
Yeah. One thing I guess that confused me in the game, when you walk in, I feel like it's implied that Maya is there over Mia's body the entire time.
I had the same thought.
Yeah, isn't it just that Phoenix is so shocked by what he's seeing that he doesn't notice her at first?
That's always how I understood it, yeah.
Me too, yeah. But in the show here, they can't do it exactly like that because it's animated.
Hard to just pass right by an entire girl.
Yeah, so instead what they've done is they've put Maya in the corner of the room at first, but the reasoning for it is never given. She just quietly waits in the corner of the room until Phoenix is done so that she can react to her sister's body.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have flowed better if she entered after him. You know, if she was late too.
I had a hard time understanding if that's what they meant. Because, like, you don't really hear her come in, but he's, like, startled as if she'd made a sudden noise and suddenly
Maybe, but
entered.
Isn't she, like, sitting on the ground
Yes, it was still confusing.
in the corner? She's in a dark corner of the room, sitting down on the ground, I feel like. I don't know, I was very confused by it.
Yeah.
This is an important moment for me.
Yeah.
Because it's where Gumshoe arrives.
Yeah.
Now, over the past probably more than a year now, yeah, it's been a couple years that it's taken me, I have finally been playing through Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice. And I have sorely missed Gumshoe. He's my favorite character.
I know, I do miss him.
I wanna know what's up with him. We know he's around because he gets referenced.
There's whispers of him and his salary getting cut.
Yeah, in Spirit of Justice, I think it's in Spirit of Justice, there's a point where Phoenix had got some inside information that he shouldn't have had, that only the police should know. And it's heavily implied that Gumshoe's the one who gave it to him. And, like, heavily implied.
Yep.
They do everything but outright state it.
That scruffy green coat man.
We know he's around and we know he's still with the police, but we just haven't seen him in a long, long time, and that makes me real sad.
Yeah. Emma's cool and all, but she's not Gumshoe.
No, and it's such a it's a shame because I love both of them and I wouldn't want to lose Emma to get Gumshoe back, but I want Gumshoe back.
Gumshoe should be there for, like, the main going over the scene and getting the evidence, but then Emma should be there when you have to, like, do blood analysis or fingerprints.
That's the thing, because they kind of do have different jobs, because he's a detective and she's a crime scene analyst.
Well, she wanted to be a crime scene analyst, but I think she is just a detective.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So bring back Gumshoe and make her a crime scene analyst.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gumshoe in Japanese is called Keisuke Itono Kogiri, and he is played by Masami Iwasaki. He didn't have anything that I was familiar with in his resume, unfortunately, but he played both Tow-Line and Hightower in the 2000s Transformers anime.
Ooh.
He plays Ryuji in Yakuza, who is definitely an important Yakuza character because he's on the cover of some of the games, but he's not in any of the ones I've played yet. I think he first shows up in Yakuza 3. I almost said he first throws up.
I got distracted because I went to the most reliable source on the internet, courtrecords.net, my my old stomping grounds for Phoenix Wright information. And it says that Emma is a forensic investigator in Spirit of Justice.
Oh, okay.
I could have sworn that she was bitter that she just got relegated to detective.
Was that not... Maybe that was Dual Destinies.
Maybe.
Maybe she got promoted.
It's been a while since I played it.
Dick Gumshoe, in the dub, is played by Brian Massey, who has a big mixture of live-action, voiceover, and stunt work.
Nice.
He's the voice of Oolong in Dragon Ball. He is in most of the Borderlands games, but as a different character each time. He was Wilhelm in the pre-sequel.
Oh.
He was Captain Cabrera in Borderlands 2, and he was Father O'Callahan in Borderlands 1. And he is very, very commonly cast as a policeman in live-action stuff. Just a lot of roles as different cops.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this is part of his typecasting.
It sure seems like it.
So Gumshoe finds the receipt with Maya's name written on it in blood. There's a lot of stuff that is skipped over in the investigation here. Like I remember there being a broken lamp that was very important.
Broken lamp. I remember a broken table being very important.
Oh wait, was it a lamp Or did it turn out, or did they think it was a lamp because it was glass and then it turned out to be something else?
Turned out to be the table.
Is that what it was?
That's like the big turning point at the end of the case.
Right, okay.
And it is briefly mentioned or referenced because when Phoenix steps into the room, he steps on broken glass.
It is, yeah. But the majority of the finds that happen in the investigation don't happen here, and we skip right to the bloody receipt with the name on it.
Yeah.
And when they find out that that's Maya's name, Gumshoe immediately arrests her. And next morning, Phoenix listens to the news report as he gets ready. This is another part that's like not present in the game. I think in the game we go straight to Phoenix showing up at the office the next day. But this I thought was really powerful, this whole scene, where he's like watching the news report and remembering Mia. Then we see Maya crying in her cell alone.
Yeah.
I liked it. Also, sad version of the Steel Samurai theme playing for some reason.
千尋さん
何しろ可愛い部下の初めての弁護なんだからしっかり見届けないとねよくやったわねなるほどか
Your favorite song?
Is it my favorite song?
I just always think of you when I hear it because the first time you heard it, you made such a big stink about it because it's this goofy samurai song that they turn into this dirge.
I don't even remember that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe enough time has passed now that I'm just emotionally attached to it. Or like, was I making a stink about it because I didn't like it? Or
No, you liked it, but
okay.
Your reaction to it just, I don't know, lives in my head rent-free for some reason.
And it's gone from mine forever.
It moved out of your head and into mine. Like an Animal Crossing villager.
It's something we do to each other pretty often.
We only have so much brain space. We have to shuffle it around sometimes.
So when, as Phoenix rides his bike to the prison, we get this moment where he like reflects on Maya's tears and he doesn't believe they were fake. And this was the first time where I was like, I felt really like invested in Phoenix as a character in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. You know, when he gets to the prison and he sits down to talk to Maya, there's music that's playing that sounds really familiar, but I don't know if it like was music from the game or if it just accurately captured the like vibe of the questioning music.
1 second. I'm gonna listen to it. It kind of sounds like a slower remix of the trial song, or like the cross-examination song. I don't think that it is, but it has vibes of it, and it's definitely not the quest or the whatever song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's got the right vibe, but I don't think it actually is any of the actual music. But I liked it.
Yeah, appropriate.
Yeah. A lot of the script from this conversation I think is straight from the game because it felt very familiar, the like stuff they were saying. I know I've played it more recently than you did. But I think a lot of the stuff that they say to each other in this detention center is like actually the game script pasted in.
Probably.
When she tells him about spirit channeling, I don't know if it's different than how it went down in the game, but the way he like takes the news felt too casual to me.
I don't know. It felt familiar to me.
Yeah.
I don't remember him raising a big stink about it, but he's like, I don't know, sounds a little strange to me.
I guess I feel like I don't remember him believing it until he saw it, I guess.
Maybe.
Because in this, you know, immediately he's just kind of like, oh, you can do that? Oh, can you just call Mia and ask her what happened?
Ask her ghost?
So Maya asks Phoenix to contact Marvin Grossberg, who was Mia's old mentor, right? If I remember rightly.
Yeah.
She doesn't want Phoenix to represent her because she thinks that he doesn't believe her. She thinks that he thinks that she did it.
She saw the fear in his eyes.
Yes, which I that's not how it went down in the game, is it? I thought that she just didn't want him to do it because he's so inexperienced.
I don't remember.
I could be wrong. We go to Marvin Grossberg's office, and I love how faithfully they've recreated his weird painting.
Yes, it's so good.
It is like, it's just perfect. Because I feel like on the DS version, I spent a lot of time squinting at that painting, being like, what is it? And then I see it in this, and I'm like, that's exactly what it is.
I wasn't sure before, but now.
In Japanese, Grossberg's name is Soranosuke Hoshikage, and he is played by Ryo Sugisaki. He was also the voice of Neda and Gwendol in Fire Emblem Three Houses, and Akala in Octopath Traveler 2. Among other things, but those are the things I most recognized, and there's still things that I don't really know about. In English, Marvin Grossberg is played by Phil Parsons, who is the voice of Nappa in Dragon Ball.
Ooh.
Do you know who Nappa is?
No.
I'm gonna check just to make sure I'm right. Yeah, so Nappa is the guy who asks Vegeta about Goku's power level.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the guy. He also played Burgess in One Piece, and he's another one who's in most of the Borderlands games, but as different characters each time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they must have just commissioned a whole bunch of Funimation actors to do side characters in Borderlands. Because they tend to get some quite big name voice actors for the main characters in Borderlands, don't they?
I feel like it's a mixture of big name actors and people that they've just pulled out of like the art department and put them in front of a microphone.
Oh, really?
I mean, that was the case with like Claptrap, right?
Oh, you're right, yeah. Yeah. For some of those though, like from knowing about when this happens in like Disney movies and Pixar movies and stuff, I think a lot of the time it's just that that's the guy who did the temp voice for the character and they just got attached to it while they were working on it, so they didn't bother casting a real actor.
Perhaps.
And I love it when that happens. Those are usually some of the most lovable characters. The ones where the temp voice sticks around. So Grossberg agrees to defend Maya, but then right when Phoenix leaves, he gets a phone call and it's Red White. And he's being threatening. Which is, that's another thing, like, this is where we get the benefit of actually watching it in show form, because in the game we don't get to see that. In the game, I don't think we really get to see anything that Phoenix himself doesn't see, do we?
No. Not unless it's in, like, the opening cutscene.
Yeah. So since Phoenix didn't witness this phone conversation, we don't get to see it in the game.
Well, there is all that stuff in the second game with Maya, though, in the final case.
Is that the one where she gets kidnapped?
Yeah.
That's true, but that's because we play as her in those moments. So.
True.
So you don't tend to see moments that the player character doesn't see, except in the cold open to a case.
I was cleaning my room today, and I found the sticker I bought at my first MagFest, which was the killer's card with Phoenix's head drawn over it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's so good.
It's really good.
I haven't stuck it on anything because I don't want to. I have to find the perfect thing. It's too perfect.
I know, I've got stickers like that too. I did finally stick my Teen Girl Squad So Good sticker on my guitar after having it for like 15 years. So this is where we get some more scenes that weren't in the game. Phoenix goes home. We never see his house.
No, we just assume that he lives in the office.
Yeah, that's something that really struck me, seeing him in his house here. I mean, it's a really bare bones house. They didn't do... You can see that they didn't really know what to do about it.
Right.
There's like no furniture.
To be fair, though, I feel like that's not uncommon for Phoenix. Like, that makes sense. That checks out.
It does, yeah. I think he lives in the office in the games, at least in the later ones.
Yeah, he has to take care of them.
But he lies down on his bed and thinks about Maya, and then we see Edgeworth in his office just watching the city, drinking his tea. And again, like Grossberg's office, this is like so faithfully recreated from the game. But, and this is what I was talking about before, because we don't see his office this early on, and I think they've just recreated it directly from screenshots of when we do see it, it does contain some things here that it shouldn't.
Like the Steel Samurai?
Like the Steel Samurai
Wasn't that a gift from Oldberg? Or Oldbag?
Yeah, Oldbag, yeah, it was. I looked it up in case I was remembering it wrong, but yeah, he shouldn't have that statue until after the Steel Samurai case when Wendy Oldbag gives it to him. And also, the King of Prosecutors trophy is here.
Oh.
And he doesn't win that until Rise from the Ashes, which was a special episode added to the DS remake of this game. So he shouldn't get that trophy for years yet.
Yeah, Edgeworth, what are you doing hopping around the timeline?
But, you know, I was impressed with how, like, everything's here. His jacket hanging on the wall, his chessboard.
His fancy boy jacket.
It's so faithful. Like, I guess that's not hard to do when you have, you know, when the design's already done.
Right.
But it's nice to see. And we see that he's looking at Mia's case file, so we can imply that he's on the case.
In case it wasn't obvious from the fact they keep showing him to us.
Back at the office the next day, Phoenix is having more flashbacks of Mia. And I like that they included the conversation about Charlie the plant.
Yeah, me too.
That was nice. Yeah, she has
a
plant in the office named Charlie. And then doesn't he finds Maya's phone in Charlie's dirt.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that's where it was in the game or not, but
Charlie had some calls to make.
And it's got the recorded conversation in it, which is important. In the recorded conversation, Maya mentions that she wants to have some ramen for dinner.
Yeah, because she loves ramen instead of hamburgers.
Yeah, and I know, I don't remember if we talked about this when we did the first episode, but on Crunchyroll, they had 2 different selectable subtitle options.
Oh yeah, you did mention that.
Okay, I'll say it again just in case, but in the first selection, it uses all the Japanese names for the characters. And in the second selection, it uses all the English names for the characters and changes every mention of ramen to hamburgers. So this is one of those, and I love it.
So stupid, I forgot they did that.
And Gumshoe comes in. I did enjoy that Phoenix and Gumshoe both comment on each other's pun names.
Yeah.
Phoenix finds out that Edgeworth is the one prosecuting the case, and we get a little teeny tiny little montage of Edgeworth doing stuff. And we get to see Von Karma in this moment for a second.
Oh, Von Karma.
He doesn't say anything, but he's there. It's so funny because Von Karma, I guess, was the original like big bad of the Ace Attorney series, wasn't he?
He sure was.
But we're so far removed from him now that I forget he exists.
I know. Like, he's been dead for 15 years at this point.
Yeah. And it's so funny. He's like, despite him being essentially the final boss of the first game, I feel like he left maybe the smallest impression on me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I'm trying to think who was the like final boss of the second one.
The second one didn't really have a final boss in the way the first and the third one did. The final boss would be the assassin, I would think.
I suppose so, yeah.
But like the first and third had overarching stories.
Who prosecuted? It was Edgeworth prosecuting the last case on the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he came back from the dead.
That's right.
It was a whole thing.
That's right.
They tried to fool us into thinking he was dead during Justice for All. And he shows up in the final case.
Oh, I gotta get the remakes.
Yeah.
I need to own a third copy of all the Ace Attorney games.
Yeah, I have all of the DS games, and then I have 3DS download.
Yep, same. And now I need it on PC and Switch.
PC and Switch. I just need all the Phoenix in my life.
I have those two, the prequel ones about Phoenix's ancestor. I have both of those on the Switch, But
They released both of them?
Yeah, did you not know that?
I guess I forgot. I know they released the first one, but I still haven't played it because I sit down and I'm like, $40 though.
Well, it's $40 because it's both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not just the first one. It's both of them as one unit.
I guess I was thinking it was just the first one.
$40 would be a bit of a steep price for one DS game. So, you know what? Did you notice a problem in Phoenix's conversation with Gumshoe here?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Phoenix asks Gumshoe about the witness from last night. What witness?
Yeah, I did notice that problem because I had this thought all along. Gumshoe charges into the crime scene when we first discover it, but we're never told who informed him.
No. And also, so here's what really struck me here is that Phoenix asked Gumshoe about the witness from last night, and when he asks if the witness has been sent, he's basically like tricking Gumshoe into giving him information when Gumshoe said he won't. And he says, so I suppose you sent the witness home already? And Gumshoe said, yeah, right, we're not letting her leave her room. And then Phoenix said, so she must still be in the hotel across the street.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you talking about, Phoenix?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a little bit of psychic ability. He was using that Magatama.
I know what he was talking about because I've played the game.
Right.
So you'll remember, Mel, that in the game, when you find Mia's body, you hear a woman scream.
And you look over and you see Eenie Miney. Not Eenie Miney,
no,
she's from the second
April
game.
May.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you see April May in her hotel room across the street calling the police.
Yeah.
And obviously they decided to remove that part from the show for some reason. But it seems like when they wrote this scene, they forgot that they removed that part.
Right.
So I wonder if it was maybe cut for time quite late and they didn't have time to rewrite this part.
Maybe.
That's the best explanation I have for it. But this is where Phoenix sneaks into the hotel room to find some evidence. And April May is in the shower. She almost catches him, but he slips out.
She doesn't almost catch him. She thinks he's the bellboy and tells him to put the wine on the table.
That's true. She sticks her leg out, though.
Tantalizingly.
In Japanese, her name is Umeyo Shochiku, and she is played by Mariko Honda, who only had one thing in her resume that really stuck out to me. Because she is the voice of my favorite character in my favorite anime.
Oh, she's Sonic the Hedgehog?
No. No, she's Yuko in Nichijou.
Oh.
The ADHD girl. She's the one I relate to because she's constantly sent out of the classroom for not doing her homework.
They don't send you out of the room for that.
Nichijou basically has three main characters, but I've always felt like Yuko is the main of the main characters. Because usually when a story involves multiple of the girls, Yuko tends to be the point of view character for it. I know I've sent you plenty of Nichijou clips.
Yeah.
Yuko's the one who witnessed the principal fighting the deer in the courtyard.
That doesn't mean anything to me. You sent me that clip 15 years ago.
Well, whatever. She's the best character in my opinion.
Okay.
April May in English is played by Jeannie Tirado, who played Vex in League of Legends. She played Koala in One Piece. She is the female voice of Byleth in Fire Emblem, because Byleth is one of those characters that can be either gender.
Right.
She's both Pan and Android 21 in Dragon Ball. And most recently, she was the voice of REM in Sonic Dream Team. I don't remember if I showed you a picture of REM, but she's a sheep lady who lives in the dream world, I guess.
You did send me a picture.
I don't know much about Sonic Dream Team because it's exclusive to Apple Arcade and I don't own any Apple products, but I've heard it's good.
Just watch a long play.
I will, sometime. I watched a little bit of one, but I couldn't stand Cream's new voice.
Oh.
In fairness, though, Cream has never had a voice that I could stand.
She's just doomed to be annoying.
Cream is one of those characters who would really benefit from being played by a genuine child, but they never hire one. So
Right.
I think that's the only way to make her bearable, is to have a real child playing her, but they never do. So, in this hotel room, Phoenix finds a few objects that are of importance.
You mean like a heavily bedazzled screwdriver?
Yeah. Now, do you remember? I'm sure this was just like a normal blue screwdriver in the game.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that's what I remember.
Hold on, let me see if I can actually find an exact image of it, since I'm still on court records.
Oh, yeah.
No, there isn't even an image of it.
Okay.
So for all we know, maybe it was heavily bedazzled.
I don't think it was, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. It's a strange thing to decorate like that.
When you're a handyman, but also a woman.
Also, I looked this one up because it really stuck out to me, but Phoenix just finds a wiretap, like, on the floor.
It was in the trash that he knocked over.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just on the ground.
No. Oh, I found a screwdriver. I wonder if they reused this. It's not heavily bedazzled.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is the one. That's the one I remember. I went and I looked it up, and the wiretap was just in a drawer in the game, so...
Oh. This feels a bit more, authentic, I guess. Instead of him actively snooping through somebody else's drawers, he legitimately stumbled upon it.
I suppose. Yeah, it makes it... I guess in the game you really are just like snooping through somebody's privates.
Yeah, like you're a lawyer, you're not a detective. You're not supposed to be doing that shit.
Yeah, in the show they turned it more into an accidental. He just walks in, he's announcing himself as he walks in. He just wants to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it is very set up. It's a very contrived way that he just like happens across all of the things that he needs to find.
Yeah.
He picks up... That's probably why they decorated the screwdriver, so that he would pick it up and be like, why is this screwdriver so decorated?
Who the fuck bedazzled a screwdriver?
And then he drops the screwdriver, it rolls under the
table,
dresser.
And he sees Red White's ring down there.
Yeah. And then he knocks over the trash and finds the wiretap. You're right. You're absolutely right. They did this. They did this on purpose to set it up for him to find everything. It felt contrived, though, to me.
It did and it didn't. Like, I liked how they did it. I'm not gonna say it's foolproof, but I liked it.
Yeah, okay. I'll give him this one. In the game, I'm pretty sure he actually speaks to the bellboy here.
Oh yeah, and gets his affidavit.
Yeah, but in the show, he just passes by him in the hall. So it's nice that the bellboy still got to make an appearance. But he doesn't get any lines in the show. At least not yet. He might later. And while he's downstairs gathering himself, this is where Grossberg calls Phoenix and tells him he can't defend Maya. Which I don't think, in the game, I don't think Phoenix learns this from Grossberg. I think we learn it from Maya, and then we go confront Grossberg about it.
And notice his weird painting is missing.
Yes, and I think they actually did it more elegantly in the show than it was done in the game. Because it's just this phone call between Grossberg and Phoenix, and we can see that the painting is missing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was like a very simple and elegant way
Yeah.
of showing the same thing without going through the whole rigmarole of having Phoenix go back to his office.
Did they ever explain why he takes that painting?
No, I don't think they did. We see it in Red White's office later, right?
Yeah, like that's how we connect the lines between Grossberg and Red White, but like, why?
I guess I always thought it was like a
loan shark, like a repo man?
No, I'm thinking like he came over and he like bullied him a bit and took his painting.
Yeah, I could see that. That's canon now.
And then Grossberg was so sad that he was powerless to stop his painting being stolen.
Oh, my precious painting of Saxton Hale.
That he just kind of... It is Saxton Hale! You're right. That's exactly who it is.
We just don't see his Australia-shaped chest hair.
No, because the resolution's not high enough. So I was confused about this next part. Phoenix has a flashback to his childhood.
Yeah.
Where he's standing in the rain and a girl with an umbrella passes by, lets him share it as they walk somewhere. And then we flash to the time when where the whole class were accusing him of being a thief, and we see that girl is among the ones accusing him. This is like completely new stuff for the show. I don't think she's a character at all from the game.
This was the most contrived part of the episode for me, because it's my understanding is that the through line is that it was raining. He's caught in the rain, and he thinks back to that time he was caught in the rain, and that girl brought him an umbrella and then accused him of being a thief.
Yeah, and it's clearly supposed to, in some way, be connected with what's happening with Maya, but I didn't really get the connection.
He says that she's like alone and helpless like he was back then.
Right. But why did we need this girl to illustrate that?
I don't know.
No, I don't either. That's like they could have just had him standing in the classroom with everyone yelling at him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the purpose of the girl with the umbrella.
Like I said, it's a weak through line where it's just like, oh, I remember one time when it rained. And
Just
also
like now.
I got yelled at.
This is just like Maya because she's alone like I was, and it's raining today.
Maybe there's a little girl calling her a thief in the holding cell.
In the rain.
Let's not forget the rain.
This part, I don't remember if it played out like this in the game, but I love the way it played out in this.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Phoenix is reassuring Maya that he's still trying to find a defense attorney for her. And as he's talking about it, he says, look, I've got these two who say they're willing to hear us out, so I'm going to go talk to them. And he holds his notebook up for Maya to see the two names that he's circled. But what she sees, rather than those two that are circled, is all of the ones that are crossed out.
Yeah, he's got 2 full pages of people that refuse to take the case.
And that makes her realize just how hard he's fighting her corner. And, you know, it doesn't tell us that that's what she's realizing, but it's obvious, it's clear.
Media literacy, folks.
Yeah. and she also sees like his jacket is soaked through because he's been running around in the rain all day. And it's very sweet, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of these moments where I'm like, I love Phoenix Wright.
Yeah.
He's just a good boy.
Through and through, Phoenix Wright is the goodest boy.
He sure is. The real good character. She asks him, or they ask each other at the same time, for Phoenix to be the one to defend her, so she finally accepts. And he accepts as well. I'm pretty sure that does happen in the game as well. Don't they ask each other at the same time?
I don't
in the
remember.
game too? I think they do.
It's been quite
I
a while
remember
since I played the first game.
It has been a while for me as well. This, I think that's it. Like, as far as scenes from the game go, that's it now. And all we have left is unique to the show. We have Edgeworth driving to the courthouse in his fancy sports car.
Phoenix biking.
Yeah, the contrast I really liked. Like, Edgeworth pulling up to the front door of the courthouse while the paparazzi snap photos of him. And then cut to Phoenix leaving his bike in the bike shed out back. It was just a fun contrast there. It's so dramatic as well.
I mean, that's Edgeworth for you.
Yeah. The way he like pushes open the doors. He's just like standing in darkness and he pushes open the doors to the light. It's like, all right, we get it. You're going to have to dye your hair white if you want to really be a Sephiroth, Edgeworth.
He's pretty Sephiroth-y.
He's pretty close. He's not quite there, though.
No, he's like a half-winged angel.
Half one wing. Oh no, I feel like he's a 2-winged angel.
Oh, he has to lose one.
Yeah, it's losing the wing that makes you a Sephiroth.
Okay.
You know, I don't remember. I know for sure that at this point in the game, we didn't know anything about the class trial or Phoenix and Edgeworth's past. I think there were whispers of it. But I felt like I thought that Edgeworth, didn't recognize Phoenix at first.
I think he recognized him.
Does he just not? Maybe he just doesn't mention it.
Maybe. He's just kind of shocked to see that he's there, like in the show.
Yeah? I don't remember. Been too long.
Yeah.
But Edgeworth, he recognizes Phoenix, addresses him by name, and is surprised to see him there. And Phoenix objects.
It is not a surprise to see me here. You know who I am, Edgeworth.
Yeah, I was really unclear about what he was objecting to, but that's how the episode ends.
It's just a dramatic objection, like how every time you beat the game, it makes you yell objection to get to the credits.
I understand the desire to have the episode end with Phoenix yelling objection. I'm just taken aback. You know, if this happened to me, if I said, "Oh, surprised to see you here," and then the person I'm talking to screamed objection at me, I wouldn't know what to make of that.
Okay. And then you just turn around and leave.
I just look at the judge, and the judge just kind of shrugs and says, overruled.
You know, Judge, I was starting to wonder why you've been following me for so long, but I appreciate you being here now.
Yeah, I guess I didn't specify that I was in a courtroom in my version of the scenario. It didn't occur to me. Anyway, that's the end. I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
I liked it more than the first episode. It makes me feel like maybe I should have given this show more of a chance, both of the 2 times that I tried to watch it. Because both times I've watched the first episode, I watched only the first episode and then went and played the game instead.
Oh, I watched a few episodes in. I think I got to the first episode of the Steel Samurai case, but because I was keeping up with it as it was getting released, I forgot.
Yeah, that happens. I feel like every show I've ever watched, or at least since I stopped watching them on TV, like when it's not on TV, it's so hard to remember to come back, especially when they go on hiatus for weeks.
Yeah.
Months sometimes. I never come back. Every time I've been watching a show and it goes on hiatus for a couple months, I forget about it.
Like, well, that show's over.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I watch the rest years later when I remember. I don't think I did. I think I did keep up with Gravity Falls, actually. But DuckTales, I definitely fell off every time there was a hiatus.
I fell off with Gravity Falls. It took me years to get back into it.
Yeah, I remember when you finally finished it. What kept me going in Gravity Falls was being in uni where everybody was talking about it every week.
Oh, yeah.
Because that show started when I started uni and ended when I left. So.
The perfect bookend.
Yeah, basically. I did think it was strange that through this whole episode, the only music from the game that I recognized was the Steel Samurai theme. I don't know if this show has more music from the game, but like Turnabout Sisters didn't play anywhere.
That is weird.
The episode is titled Turnabout Sisters.
Yeah, and there's like a couple versions of Turnabout Sisters, but I guess one of them's like the bittersweet reunion version.
I suppose like the regular version of... There's no point in this episode where things with Maya are upbeat enough that they could really use the regular version, I guess.
It's just about to say, maybe later in the show we'll get Turnabout Sisters.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of her theme.
For anybody who doesn't know, Turnabout Sisters is... it's the main theme of this case, but it's basically the main theme of the Faye sisters in general, isn't it?
I think it is, like, subtitled Maya's theme, something like that.
It's Maya's theme, but then they have, like, other versions of it that play pretty much anytime anything important with the Faye family is happening. And the sad version of it, the ballad version, I know we've talked about this before, but, like, I just have to hear the ballad version of Turnabout Sisters, and I get, like, emotional.
That's why I sent you that picture of little Mia and Maya.
Yeah, I saw it.
Are you gonna see it again? Because look what I just posted! Turnabout Sisters ballad!
Alright, I guess I'll play a bit of this as well then. It's a very good piece of music.
Yeah.
Possibly, I don't know if it's my favorite song in the series, but it's the one I think of. Like, when I think about how much I love Ace Attorney, this is the song that comes to mind.
It's pretty good.
That's good. I actually want to watch more of this show now. The next episode preview at the end didn't really show us much, but it did show angry April May on the stand.
Just her exact sprite art, but animated.
Yeah, they did that for didn't they do that for Frank Sawyer as well?
They sure
in
did.
The first one.
They've done that for pretty much everyone. Larry.
I feel like I remember them very faithfully recreating his like final animation.
Where he throws his wig.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. So let's talk about the dub, shall we?
Do it. Hamburgers.
The dub doesn't have its own theme song, so I'm not going to play one here. It just uses the regular one. It doesn't even translate it, which is fine. Yeah, it is pretty faithful. They've used a lot of like creative license in the script, so the script doesn't feel as familiar as it did in the subbed version.
Yeah.
It's still faithful though. Like every now and then there'll be a little bit where I'm like, that's not quite what the intention was. Like the one part where I thought it was a shame was when he's first going to see Maya at the detention center. In the Japanese subtitles, what he said was he didn't believe that her tears were fake.
Mm-hmm.
But in the English version, he just says he doesn't think it was her, which I thought was a little bit less... It lost a bit of the nuance, I thought.
Yeah.
And there's a few parts like that, but none of them are like massively glaring.
Right, they don't change the entire meaning.
Yeah. I think the biggest change I noticed was that when April May calls out to Phoenix in the hotel room, in the English dub, he puts a little bit more effort into pretending to be hotel staff. He like puts a voice on and he's like, and he says that he's cleaning the room or something. I think he just said like no thanks to getting a drink with her in the Japanese, and then that was it.
Yeah. A part of me wondered why he didn't pretend to be the bellboy, but I guess he didn't really have a reason to, unless she was super familiar with the bellboy already.
He was just focused on getting out of there.
Yeah.
Well, Mel, I think we're done.
We did it. We completed the case. Maya is no longer in jail.
Yeah. She is, though. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for listening to us rant about one of our favorite series for longer than we talked about the show.
Yeah, for sure. But I love Ace Attorney.
It's so good.
It's so good. I want to play it again.
I know.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, has it been long enough that I've forgotten enough that I could enjoy it again? That's the good part about having ADHD, is that I regularly forget stuff.
It's good and bad, because then you're over here talking to me about Spirit of Justice, and I'm like, I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. It's been like 6 years since I played it. You think I remember anything?
Yeah, you do. You remembered Lady Kira. I didn't.
Yeah, because I listen to that song every now and then, because it's such a banger.
I think it was good. I definitely, we're not on the same page about the 3DS ones, though.
Mm-mm.
Because I thought Dual Destinies was better, personally. And I know you felt the opposite.
Spirit of Justice is better.
Yeah. I just couldn't get invested in Kurain as a country.
I could. It was wacky. I loved it.
The whole time I was there, I was just kind of like, I want to go back to Ameripan.
San Francisco.
Yeah. What is it? The English developers had a name for it, didn't they?
Was it San Francisco, or is that from Big Hero 6?
Yeah, San Francisco is the Big Hero 6 one.
I can't remember.
No, I can't either. Let's see. Oh, well, apparently Spirit of Justice confirms for the first time that Los Angeles is the setting.
That Los Angeles is real?
Yeah. They just never mentioned any city up until Spirit of Justice, when they suddenly reveal that Los Angeles is where Phoenix Wright has been the whole time.
Just ignore the yokai town. Just ignore the... Is it Rakugo? Is that what they do?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Rakugo. That's an American thing.
Yeah. Apparently the fandom name for the setting was Japanifornia.
Ah.
That doesn't sound as clever as I thought it was.
No.
So that might not be the one I'm thinking of. I thought they had like quite a clever name, but I don't remember. Well, anyway, we're done.
We did it.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you'd like to celebrate... That's
Just
not the
in
word
general?
If you'd like to support our show with monetary contributions, you can head to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub or coffee.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and kick some money our way. The Patreon has quite a lot of bonus content up on there now. The coffee does not, and I will be working on fixing that.
If you want to celebrate us, you can do that from the privacy of your own home. We won't judge.
Thank you to our current Patrons. Jamie Core and my mom.
She figured it out?
She figured it out again.
Mom's back on the roster.
I mean, for who knows how long.
Until next month.
I didn't even tell her this time. I didn't get around to telling her that her payment had been declined. She figured it out on her own and fixed it.
So proud.
Good job, Mom. We love you. Is that everything?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't even bother telling people about Twitter anymore.
That hellhole.
Yeah, I don't like being there.
No one ever liked being there, but you win anyway.
Bye!
I don't remember how this show works, Mike. It's been too long since I've done this.
Yeah, what specifically is giving you the most trouble?
The ending.
I think it's over.
I think it's over.
I already said bye, that's when it ends.